Hey there, folks. Lucifer Legged Warden coming back at you finally with another video. We had a really great high mass tonight and whatnot. Sorry I have not been posting lately. A lot has been going on. A lot has gone on in the satanic community, and I wanted to make sure I had everything going correctly before I posted anything. Finally, I feel comfortable with posting a new video talking about some of the things that have gone on, and I can guarantee you I will be posting a series of videos here very soon. I'm going to be getting into some stuff and working on a few things. I've been taking a little bit of time off of writing anything really satanic wise except for the Cloven Hoof, which, speaking of the Cloven Hoof, drinking some tonight's Sacramento wine. As everybody knows, Stanton LaVey passed away in December of last year. And it happened right before Yuletide, or Yule. He died on the 19th, and it was a really tragic event. I've been in contact with Sharon LaVey, and she is a sweet, sweet woman. Unfortunately, they really weren't all that well set up to do things out there on her end, and funerals really cost a lot of money, and she's been doing whatever she can to get up some funds to help pay for Stanton's funerary costs. Now, by the time, we're posting this now, the funeral's already done and over with, but we're still helping Sharon out to mitigate some of the costs. Now, the way STS is helping Sharon LaVey out is with the Cloven Hoof. This is the new edition of the Cloven Hoof. It's finally out. You can get it from the STS website. Now, what is important to know about this edition of the Cloven Hoof is that 50% of the profits from this issue will be going to Sharon LaVey to help offset the costs of funerary costs and whatnot. So I would ask you all, you can click the link in the description down below. Go get a copy of the 3rd edition of the Cloven Hoof, which is dedicated completely to Stanton. We have some articles from STS members in here, including myself, Kane Blackfire. We have our usual wonderful centerfold. And what is more important is there is an article in here written by none other than Stanton LaVey himself, which you can see right here. This is just a really, really awesome issue. I would highly, highly recommend everybody go get it. Show some love, show some support to the LaVey family in this time of need. We've got some amazing ads in here for some of their content, and as you can see, this issue is actually dedicated to Stanton LaVey, and you can find their website there, BaphometX. You just go BaphometX.com. You should be able to find their website. I will also be throwing a link to their website down below. Again, go show them some love and some support. So now that that's said and whatnot, that's a really good thing. Again, 50% of all proceeds from that go directly to Sharon to help pay for some of the funerary costs that she's having to endure, because funerals are not cheap. Moving onward. Excuse me, I need to take a drink. People will remember this chalice from when I opened up the box before moving here to South Carolina. I opened it up on this channel and everybody got their first look at it. It's still here. It is our active chalice, and currently it is not filled with juice. Now, speaking of things that I've unveiled on the channel before, a few years ago when STS was starting up, I was showing support and reviews of various organizations and groups, and one group was brought to my attention, and it caught my eye because years ago I was a member in a forum website as part of a separate organizational group, loose organization. They really weren't an organization, but they were a group, and they were run by a guy called Venger Satanas. And that group was called Cthulhu Cult. More recently, an organization was brought to my attention that I absolutely loved. I connected very deeply with a lot of the principles in this group because it was so much like Venger's principles, and that was the official Cult of Cthulhu. And people will remember that I actually reviewed their book, The Bible of Cthulhu, here on the channel, and it is an absolutely amazing work of literature. It's got fantastic artwork in it, and I'll bring up some of that. Here's some wonderful art in it, and it's got absolutely stunning philosophy, layout. A lot of hard work went into this book, and it's a complete ripoff. What people will remember in my previous reviews of this book is I mentioned something. I mentioned on how I couldn't quite seem to get over the fact that this book sounded so similar to Venger's works. Now, I happen to own copies of Venger Satanas' works right here. And you can see the size comparison here, but don't let that fool you, because Wyntre produced 2 books to this one. And when we compare the 2 books to the one, we find that they are actually very close in size. I actually heavily supported Wyntre lately. He sent me this copy himself. This is personally sent from him, which was really nice. I mean, I love the fact that he was flattered by my initial review of his organization and, felt the need to send me this. And I did an entire series reviewing segments, piece by piece, on this book, which is called The Bible of Cthulhu. There was a April Fool's Day gag done within a few months, and a red cover of The Bible of Cthulhu was created with the inverted cross and whatnot, and I loved it so much. It was only available for a day, but I had to have it, and I went out and I got it that day. It was only up for sale for one day, and I got it. So I have 2 copies of The Bible of Cthulhu, and do I regret buying them? No. I didn't pay for the black one, but I paid for the red one. And no, I don't regret getting it. I actually cherish these books because they are so well written and done. However, recent events have occurred, and recent information has come to light that Wyntre was also a member of Venger Satanas' group, Cthulhu Cult, years ago. I had asked Wyntre in an email if he had ever been part of that group, if he knew about who Venger Satanas was. I asked him in text message, I asked him in email, and his response to me was a very definitive, a very authoritative no. He did not know who he was. He did not have any connection with Venger Satanas. And I wanted to believe the guy. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt because I don't remember him from that group. And because I was only involved in it in the beginning and just mildly. I mean, Venger, he was a nice guy. The few times I shared emails and spoke with him, he sent me a free PDF copy of Cthulhu Cult when I couldn't afford a copy back then. And you know, as time went on, I am really proud to say that I have actually purchased a copy of this book, and it's very important to understand that Wyntre lied. When all this, apparently some sort of schism occurred in the official Cult of Cthulhu, where a lot of things suddenly became revealed, where information came out that apparently Wyntre was blackmailing somebody and whatnot. I don't know how true that is. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know the full details. I really don't want to know the full details. But some really bad stuff happened there, and Wyntre was given an ultimatum, and he decided that he was going to play hardball with his people, and they decided that they were not going to have any of it, and they packed up their stuff. They took all of the membership, and a bunch of them left. And I remember reading about the 1975 schism between Anton LaVey and Michael Aquino, and I'm having complete flashovers of that event. Well, now the official Cult of Cthulhu members have rechristened themselves as the Temple of the Old Ones. And again, just like with Michael Aquino rechristening the church Satan members that left with him as the Temple of Set, now they are the Temple of the Old Ones. And it's 1975 all over again between Wyntre Whately and this new organization. People who I know personally, that I am friends with, that I've spoken to personally on the phone. I've never actually spoken to Wyntre. And when all this stuff was going down with him, I reached out to him via email. And I'm like, listen, dude, I know what's going down. Things are about to get really hard for you. I've seen this before, and I'm going to offer you a way out. And I offered to fold him and his books, because I love them so much, into STS. I've not heard back from him. That was a couple weeks ago, and he has let it go completely to the wayside. If he watches this video, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I've had to look at everything that I have been told. Apparently, when I was in the Facebook group for Cult of Cthulhu, I was welcomed initially to post event listings for our monthly high mass and whatnot, and then suddenly I wasn't allowed to after a few months, and Wyntre cut off all communications with me, and that's fine. We supported them still on the website and whatnot, but all this other stuff was going on behind the scenes. We had STS members that were part of the Cult of Cthulhu. We had Cult of Cthulhu members that were STS, and it was great, grand, wonderful. Everybody was having a great time. Everybody loved the literature. They loved the books. They were working on all sorts of projects together, but then it all fell apart. Now, the truth has come out. would I recommend that you spend money on Wyntre's book? I have to say it is a really good book. One of the key things to understand is that technically it's not plagiarism. The only reason why it's not is because Wyntre wrote it in his own words. Now, a lot of people have been aware of the D&D scandal with their open gaming license, and a lot of people have been mentioning that game mechanics for video games and board games and whatnot cannot be copyrighted. The same goes with religions. The philosophy behind the religion is a mechanic, technically. And the mechanics of the religion cannot be copyrighted. What can be copyrighted is the presentation of that. And so, technically, the Bible of Cthulhu is not a plagiarized work. It is expressing the mechanics of Cthulhian Satanism as dictated originally by Venger Satanas. But therein lies the true catch. One of the things that I have done when working with STS and writing my books, and I am open about this, is that I have taken sources or citations from other sources. In the 3rd edition of the Satanic Testament, I actually use entire pieces of work from Anton LaVey and Michael Aquino. The difference is I don't try to claim that these are my original creations. I don't take the word of Satan and revamp it to the word of Satan and say that it is my original creation. Because it is not. It is an adapted form. It is a different presentation of an original work from someone else. I have no problem in making it very clear in my books what is actually mine and what isn't. Where did I get certain information from? What are my sources, and how well can I cite my sources, and how willing am I to cite my sources? This lies the true problem with the Bible of Cthulhu. The Bible of Cthulhu is a very well written, very well presented book, but the information in it is not originally Wyntre's like he would have us believe. Wyntre stated that he never knew Venger Satanas, when I just recently found out he was a member of Cthulhu cult. The original Cult of Cthulhu back in Venger's day, that Venger created. I found out that he took the reason why I felt so akin to what Wyntre was saying compared to Venger was because it was Venger's ideas. It was Venger's principles. It was Venger's literature. It was just retooled and reworded into Wyntre's original wording. And therein lies the problem. Wyntre never cited his original source. Even when I came out and I made that comparison, and I flat out told people in the cult, this is Satanism. This has connections to Satanism. When people look in the Bible of Cthulhu, there's actually an image in the back. Let me see if I can find it. There is an image in here. For one, the inverted pentagram. That's one image. There is so much beautiful artwork, and they even added in an entire unique language that you can decipher, but I'll give you a hint. If you just look at it a little bit, you can actually read it in English. It's just a font, transcribing font. But there is actually an image somewhere in here of Baphomet. And I don't know exactly where. I'm going to have to try to find it. I'm not going to waste too much time to do it. But I always found it very interesting that there was an image of Baphomet in here. Yes, right here. In the Bible of Cthulhu. Now, this clearly indicates that Cthulhianism is Satanism. Cthulhianism originated from Anton LaVey's original Lovecraftian concepts. Much of Lovecraft's work, including the Order of the Trapzoid and whatnot, was based out of the Church of Starry Wisdom from the story Haunter in the Dark. And that's how the Church of Satan was inspired. It was actually inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. LaVey went on to add actual Cthulhian, Lovecraftian-based rituals in the satanic rituals. Since then, the Temple of Set have entire sections of the Ruby Tablet of Set that are dedicated to Lovecraftian concepts. Even rituals done by Rex Diabolus Church. Wyntre wrote 2 books. He wrote Cthulhu Cult and Liber AO, or Liber AO, however you want to pronounce it. I would recommend you guys get these books before I would recommend you get Wyntre Whately's book. As much as I love Wyntre Whately's book, because of his refusal to cite his source, to be open and honest, I cannot support it anymore. I would recommend you go, and I will provide links to these books down in the description down below. I would recommend you go buy Venger Satanas' books, which I will be reviewing on the channel here. And considering on how positive I reviewed Wyntre's book, a lot of the information in here is taken from this source. And we will be delving into the original source, the official Cult of Cthulhu's literature, which was Venger Satanas. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed my commentary on this. I will be linking to the Temple of the Old Ones down below, along with Venger's books. I will also be linking to the Cloven Hoof, which I hope everybody goes and picks up a copy and helps support Sharon in this, and helps donate a little bit and helps us help them. And until next time, my name's Lucifer Lake Warren. Tell me what you think in the comments down below, and I'm out of here. You all have a good night.